Not bad for an uncontracted all-rounder, Nick Maddinson.
3 inside the circle on the offside. There's a cover, backward point, and short third man. Full toss to start, straight back to the bowler. So there's a dot ball.
Be interested to see what they do with the leg side field here for Schwepson. Obviously, Maddinson notionally turns the ball away, but turn might be a bit of a generous term on this pitch. 3 men out on the leg side.
Oh, wow. He got caught there. Schwepson as if he was bowling hand grenades, Maddinson. Got lucky.
I'm not sure what's happened there. Is the ball just held up in the wicket, or Schwepson in two minds about whether he was going to rock back and try and ding one over the leg side boundary? Three from 4 this over.
That's all they need. Just keep knocking it around. They don't really need the big shot. Tried to hit that to Charters Towers. Schwepson, I was about to say, they don't need to do anything silly. Just knock it around and hit the bad ball for 4. Partnership is 59. It's the end of the over. 4 off it. They needed 5. So 8 for 205. Still Victoria's game at the moment. But if Schwepson can get, what have we got left? 7 overs, 7 sixes. If Schwepson can face 30 of the 42 balls remaining, or even 25 of the 42 balls remaining.
Well, it just makes you think of the ODIs of 20 years ago when teams would have, numbers 6, 7 and 8, and it was deemed a close game when they needed 36 off 42.
Just down leg side, could easily have been a wide if he didn't play at it. It just gets the 1.
It's intriguing cricket here. Butler knows what's coming as well. He might be running down the wicket again, looking for that single to mid-on. Just tuck it behind square. He succeeds in picking out the one man in the leg side field.
It's in the air. It's over the rope. It's the biggest hit of the innings for Queensland, and it comes from the number 10 on debut.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He looks like he could hit a long ball, and he sure has there. But that's the problem with this telegraphed approach from the part-time bowler bowling flat and full around the wicket at leg stump. You can basically just stand there and line it up.
Same ball a bit slower and see if he goes again. It's a bit quicker and shorter. So now it's interesting if it wasn't before, but 8 for 213, 6.2 overs remain. Target 241.
Nice shot, Schwepson. You can see he's starting to tire a bit out there, though. More than happy just to punch through the line and dawdle through for 1.
It's a good over there for Queensland. 8 for 215. And remarkably, not that Duckworth Lewis will come into it, but they're actually level with what they should have been, whereas earlier in the match, they were close to 100 runs behind at various stages. So we're pretty much back on even keel, but they've only got 2 wickets in hand.
So who's going to win from here, Mark?
Look, you'd think Victoria, as Tremaine is going to come on, but as I've said for the last hour and a half, if Queensland can get to the stage whereby Peter Hanscom has just got part-timers left and you're looking for 30 off 5 and you've got part-timers and you've got blokes that are in with a 70-run partnership, Queensland feel as though they're in a good position. But it just, the advantage of a bowling team is if they bowl a bad delivery and it goes for 6, they can come back, next ball. But if one of these batsmen make a mistake, innings and potentially game over.
So they've got a problem here, Victoria. They need one more man inside the fielding restriction circle. Because they only got 3 inside as fine leg is called up. So they're kind of hedging their bets a bit here, the Vics. Third man's back, but fine leg's up. Assume he's going to be bowling on the offside with 5 men on that side of the field and the third man in play. Deep square's also being moved. Well in front, a good 15 metres in front of square. So these will be wide Yorkers, you'd think, from Tremaine.
I look for 2. They're not going to get it though. Well fielded.
Again, Bartlett's faced 53 balls now, so when he knows where they're coming and they're not threatening the stumps and he can just throw his hands through it. It's a little bit too easy. I'm surprised they're not adopting a slow ball approach or something like that to look to see if the tired batsman might want to go for the big shot and make the pace a little bit.
Now they've got the dangerous Swepson on strike.
So White's going into first slip. So they're going to back themselves, the Vics.
There is no one inside the circle on the leg side in front of square leg. There's a short, fine leg, and that's it. And between keeper and first slip for 4. He was at a floating second, maybe third. Cameron White, regulation first slip, straight down his throat.
Well, this floating slip stuff, how often do you see it go through the gap? When there's no one at first slip and someone at 2.5 just hedging their bets. So that's 4 to the total, 4 valuable runs.
That's the thing that hurts almost as much as the fact that the catch didn't go to the field, or the fact that that is a critical boundary early in this over. And now wide.
Well. This is a little bit defensive here from Victoria. I know there was an edge that went through the slips. I know there's a slip in place, but they're telegraphing this to bowl wide with 3 men on the leg side. So they're taking bold LBW out of the equation against 9 and 10 and saying we're just going to hope.
It's a nice shot for 1.
I mean, if you've got Chris Tremaine, albeit he's a bit fatigued, but Chris Tremaine who can hit mid-140s at his peak, and you're a number 10 batsman on debut, and you know he's not going to bowl one at you, you'd have to be laughing, wouldn't you? You just know you can throw your hands through a wide one and...
Well, particularly when you've got Swepson at the other end on 72 not out, just try and find the gap and get down the other end as well. Although Bartlett's batting pretty well at the moment.
...19 runs to win. We're in 5.2 overs remaining. This run rate's never been an issue throughout the chase. And well, you're talking about the Duckworth-Lewis par score. Someone turned the sprinklers on now. Be game over. Queensland win.
It has happened before. Nearly one awkward bounce there for Glenn Maxwell. So, last ball of this over. Bartlett is on strike. And it has to be Short or Maddinson. Short's gone for 6 and over. I was surprised that Maddinson's first over wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I'd suspect maybe with that longer boundary to the eastern side, bowling from the southern end, you might see Maddinson come on and have a bowl. See if they want to take him on against the spin.
Edge gone. Yep, the umpire nods the head, and there's the wicket. He chased it, Bartlett. A terrific innings comes to an end, and now the pressure's on Billy Stanlake. 9 for 222, 19 to win. He didn't need to chase it. Last ball of the over. Out for 28.
Yeah, that's disappointing. It's hard to knock Bartlett, who has put in an outstanding shift at the crease. He's given the Bulls a chance along with Mitch Swepson, but yeah, that's a tired mistake from him. And Billy Stanlake now, not known for his batting, he's got to stick with Swepson here.
Well, the advantage here is he's not on strike. And Swepson will be facing Nick Maddinson. So what does he do? Does he... Well, he can't get the 19 in an over, you wouldn't have thought. I mean, it is possible, but highly unlikely.
You think this might be a scenario where I wonder if Swepson's thinking of, we've got to get this to the end. It's sort of 2s or nothing for a little bit.
Yep.
And make sure he's sort of facing upwards of 4 balls and over,
yep,
and then get it into that final over or 2, and anything can happen.
And Billy Stanlake has got to be aware of that. That if Swepson takes off, that he's got to look for 2. But also, if he's on strike, that it doesn't matter if he has 3 dot balls. That his partner at the other end is in form, 72 off 69. He's quite capable of hitting 3 boundaries to win. They only need 19 to win. And there's 5 overs, so 4 and over. Let's just say he was to get, a 2 or 1 off the first ball. 5 dots is not the end of the world for Billy Stanlake to lead 18 off 4, Now they don't take it. So no run. I think that's fair enough in the first half of the over. It's in the air, it's in the gap. They should get 2. He's got to come back, Stanlake, he does. And there's the 2.
That's outstanding batting from Swepson. 2s or nothing. It's really over the bowler's head or anywhere that he's not running to the danger end. So we're talking genuine cow corner into the gap out there.
And there's the 1. And now, Billy, you've just got to have 2 dot balls. And it'll be 16 off 4.
Well, the crowd's come alive here. Intelligent crowd here in Townsville as well. They're calling the shots. They weren't too happy that Billy was on strike, but maybe they shouldn't. They just need to back the master plan up Schwepson, who's guided the Bulls here to within a sniff of the unlikeliest victory. He's absolutely spent. You can't see him on your camera at the moment, but he's down on his haunches. Long conference out there in the centre between bowler and captain. Suspect it's not going to matter too much. I can't see Billy throwing this away.
Well, Cameron White's gone into first slip. And it lands just in front of him. This is why your bowlers need to have a good net every training as well. Has he got a full-size bat? Looks like a toothpick in his hands, doesn't it? Intelligent cricket from both Swepson and Stanlake. And who would have thought the crowd would be cheering dot balls in the final overs of a 50-over match?
Queensland required 16 runs
16 off 4.
balls to win the match.
4 and over. A couple of twos. One boundary would make it interesting. Tremaine comes back on his final over. So now you also ask yourself, do we take any risk? Do we just see him off and maybe get a single and have 15 off 3 against the so-called part-timers?
Oh, I wonder if something's in Schwepson's wheelhouse. He might have a good look at the deep mid-wicket region. All behind square as well. He's swiveled on a couple of pull shots nicely today. I think he'll be looking for leg side boundaries if possible. Just the 3 fielders on the leg side. There's a forward square, a short fine leg and a long on.
You'd hate to think you'd get this far as they have and then throw it away trying to manufacture some sort of shot against the opening bowler. You know, if you can get one this over, it's not the end of the world.
There's also potentially some twos out through the covers, down the ground past the bowler maybe.
It's in the air, and that's 4. No, the fielder's coming around. Didn't quite get it, but they'll come back for 2. It was over the head of Glenn Maxwell. O'Connell did well to get around and prevent that being 4 because that went straight over the head of Glenn Maxwell. And the deep third man was very square and very quick. Too much width there from Tremaine.
Well, in the realms of weird and wonderful tactics, we're now going to see a deep backward point and a third man.
And a deep cover.
So if anyone has it a guess where Chris Tremaine's going to try and land this one.
Well, mid-off is up. So if it's drivable, there's no protection for him. Straight. Wide outside off stump, but not wide enough to be a wide.
Do you take the risk if you're Schwepson and run outside your off stump and try and whip it over backward square?
I would not against Tremaine. I'd be looking for one at the back end of the over. Just survive here. If there's one in your slot to maybe pick up 2, but try and win the match in the final 3 overs against the part-timers. That was a big heave. He tried to put that over the head of mid-off.
14 runs to win. 21 balls remaining. He's got time, Swepson. He doesn't need to be.
He doesn't. But Billy Stanlake can't even look relaxed at the non-strikers, and he just can't lean on his bat like most batsmen do, because otherwise he'd fall over. The bat's about a foot off the ground when he holds it. That's well bowled.
It's like he's waving around an autograph bat.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you look as though I'm not nervous, I'll just lean on my bat, cross my legs. He can't do that because he can't reach the ground with it.
Well, we were commenting before about the kids in the ground, but perhaps if it is an autograph bat, it's...
So look at Mitch Swepson there. He's dragging his bat along the ground. Mind you, he's exhausted. But for Billy to drag his bat along the ground, he'd have to bend over. Edge and caught. Victoria win the match. Mitchell Swepson, head bowed in disappointment. But what a gallant effort from Queensland. They fall just short.
Yeah, heartbreak for Swepson. He's played so well. 77 on a run of ball. But he's fallen trying to clear mid off for the boundary. And the Victorians come on over and show their appreciation for a wonderful rearguard action. But they were just a little bit too good on the day, the Vics. Probably that one big partnership in the middle, plus a great bowling effort, in particular from Will Sutherland up the top of the second innings. Really got the job done for them.
Well, they should not have got as close as they did. But Mitch Swepson, an extraordinary innings.
From Victoria with 5 for 45 was Will Sutherland.
Yeah, so just announced over the PA that Will Sutherland is the man of the match for his 5 for 45. Fantastic effort that really got the job done up the top for the Vics. He was in outstanding form with the ball. And a well-deserved effort, backing up the batting of Maxwell and Maddinson, despite the best efforts of Max Bryant with 45 and Mitchell Swepson, the last man out, for 77, batting at number 9. Victoria take the chocolates today.
52, Johnson Charles was named the man of the match. Of course, one of the fantastic things about the CPL is the fantasy cricket following last year's daily fantasy CPL game. Play On is back this year as the official daily fantasy game of the Caribbean Premier League. In daily fantasy CPL, you can pick new teams for every CPL match with 10,000 in cash prizes up for grabs. The deadline for entries each day is the first ball, so head over now to playon.co and get your team in and add some extra excitement to the Hero CPL. The next match will feature the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots against the Guyana Amazon Warriors, and that action will come live from Warner Park in St. Kitts. Match number 2. Thanks for watching. Look forward to your company next time.
It's how we play.
Welcome everyone to the highlights of match number 3 of the Hero CPL T20 2016. It's the Knight Riders taking on the Tridents from the Queen's Park Oval. The toss was won by the Tridents captain Kyron Pollard, and he elected to field first. Confirmation of the teams as they lined up for the Knight Riders. First of all, they were happy to have the services of Brendan McCullum, fantastic servant of New Zealand cricket over his career, now taking part in the CPL. And a little bit down the list, you have Hashim Amla out of South Africa, who is a fantastic player in his own right across all formats, and another key player for the Knight Riders. Darren Bravo, after his performances in the CPL last year and what he did in the first game. For the Tridents, they would have a few key players of their own as well, and that would be led by A.B. de Villiers, who is on his CPL debut. Outstanding for South Africa at all levels, in all versions. Another man to keep your eye on, Shoaib Malik, who's been a leading run scorer for the Tridents over the 3 editions of the CPL, and a man making a return to this level of cricket, Nicholas Pooran, hard-hitting left-handed wicketkeeper batsman. At the top of the action, our first set of commentators were H.G. Ackerman and Damian Martin.
McCullum, what a force he is. Look at those numbers, 242 games, but that's the strike rate, 137, 158 in his debut in the IPL. He started that competition off with a bang. Let's play, and Parnell will start. Wow, that's the McCullum. The other night it was surprising, he actually blocked a few and hit the ball back, and I think maybe tonight he might unleash, but as you mentioned there, Parnell does swing the ball. Now to Amla. It's through. That's Amla, we know. And the first boundary of the night.
The ball just has to be outside the off stump for Amla to recognise that there's a little bit of width. It's not a poor delivery by any stretch of the imagination, but he's got such good hands, the ability to hit the ball on the up. Graceful Amla.
He's got him. There it is. The first game spin and the second game for him. Bold. Going for the big sweep shot, McCullum. What a huge wicket for the Tridents.
Game 2 and still no impact for McCullum for the Knight Riders. Not a great deal of turn, you can understand it. It's the new ball, it just slides on to leg stump. McCullum looking for the big shot over the leg side where there's no protection. And the Tridents have a big one. McCullum goes for one, it's 7 for 1.
Through, inside edge. Parnell holds his head, but it's going to be another boundary. Unlucky for Wayne Parnell. Fine leg up in the circle. Inside edge, there's nothing that can be done. 4 may go on the score sheet for Colin Munro, but Parnell will feel that's a little victory. Moylan's got him again. The left arm spin through the gate. Bold McCullum. And now Munro's gone tonight again. Off stump, knocked back.
The young man is saying no turn again, just goes across the left-hander. Munro plays inside it, and the 2 big hitters from New Zealand, they're gone. Now the Knight Riders, they find themselves in a spot of bother, and it's the left arm spin with a new ball that's doing all the damage. Munro goes for 6, it's 15 for 2.